Hi everyone, welcome to another session of G Niger TV Newsscope, episode 8. Today we've actually got a bit more than usual in the sense that we've got quite a bit of news that we want to talk about. So, without too much ado, so we're going to start with the situation in Kaduna Hospital, newly commissioned by the president now, which actually is now be that we've been told that is now being abandoned. There've been a lot of accusation in terms of when things happen, when we have projects in Nigeria, see that they are half delivered or not fully delivered, and that has actually created a lot of issues. So what we're actually trying to do today is go through a series of different stories, but this is the first one that we are talking about. In case you are actually new to G Niger TV News, this is where we have a daily review. We actually select the ones that we feel that are quite important, that are quite so we have to prioritize them and actually select them. So what we do essentially is actually talk about them. So we bring them together, then we'll talk about it. You have to understand that Nigeria is the biggest, right? Giant of Africa. That's what we've been said. And before we can be giant of anything, we have to take ourselves to account. So hence the reason why we actually do this daily. So we are holding ourselves to account because if you don't have the right for yourself a giant of Africa, a giant of what? Nigeria is great. We know that. I can assure you of that. But what we want to do now is actually start with the story of a recently commissioned hospital in I think it's in Kaduna actually. Yeah, Kaduna. Kaduna Hospital newly commissioned by the president, President Ahmed Tinubu. Now it actually says that it has now been abandoned. Okay, so it's very disheartening. So the story actually says that let me bring this up. Sorry for those who are on TikTok, you not to see my screen, but please, for those who are on TikTok, please make your comment if there is anything that you actually think yeah. So let's hear it. But the first one, like I actually said, is when we have projects, we want the project to be genuine. We don't want any funny. Now, while I'm not accusing the presidency of, coming up with some fake projects, but there is a story behind and what we want to understand. And we want to know why we will have a project and then we're having all these issues. I mean, it doesn't sound right. So basically, what happened is that this project was actually inaugurated with great fanfare. People are talking about what is happening, so much, So then it then happened that all of a sudden, I think within 2 months, people go down to the hospital and they find the place there is empty. And they are thinking, what is going on? How is that possible? What do you mean it's empty? The president, this thing was so much was actually spent. So why would this happen? So let me just go through what was actually written here. So it said the Millennium City Specialist Hospital, commissioned by President Bola Ahmed in June 2025, literally like 2 months ago, has been described by residents as deserted, non-functional, barely 2 months after its inauguration. 300-bed facility located in Millennium City, Kaduna, was celebrated during its launch as a major milestone in the state's healthcare development. However, residents now claim the hospital has remained empty since the commissioning ceremony. Speaking on Saturday, August 23rd, 25th, Umar Babali, a former APC state delegate, lamented the situation. He said he visited the hospital today. That's 23rd, today. We're still in 23rd anyway. But found the place empty. He noted that they passed by the area almost every day and it was always the same. No one was around. When you begin to look at that, what is going on? Baba Ali questioned the rationale behind the inauguration, stating that with the announcement that the Millennium Hospital had been commissioned, people honestly did not understand what was actually commissioned. According to him, the state government announced the facility commissioning, but only temporary vehicles and set up brought during Tinubu visit were visible at the time. So you can imagine the president himself was here. He said everything they brought for the event had vanished. He added that if anyone doubted it, they should come and see for themselves. According to him, this is not about politics. People deserve justice, not deception. He further recalled that the project was initiated by former Vice President Namadi Sambo, completed under ex-governor Nasser El-Rufai, and finally inaugurated by Governor Obasani during the president's visit. Yet, despite its official opening, the hospital remained unused. Residents also expressed disappointment over the decision to name the social after President Tinubu rather than Namadi Sambo, who originally built it. Baba Ali stated, Salam alaikum, my name is Umar Baba Ali, a former state delegate for APC. So the person saying this is a member of the ruling party, so it's not PDP. So people can really come up and begin to say, oh, this is really different, that sort of thing. That is not what they're talking about here. So he's not a member of PDP or the ADC, any of the parties, okay, opposition parties, none of them. But this is definitely this actually has to do with the president, the ruling party itself, the APC. So I mean, so people are complaining that the hospital is disrupted. The struggles they brought when President Bola Tinubu came for the commission have all vanished and been taken away. Everything they brought during the Tinubu visit is no longer there. If they think I am lying, let someone visit the hospital today. So that's what Baba Ali actually said earlier. So they commissioned this almost 2 months ago when Tinubu came to it was because of Tinubu visit that they decided to open the hospital. Instead of, let's forget about the name. Why would you spend so much money building a supposed hospital? What is the rationale behind it if it is not going to be functional? Absolutely non-functional, nothing. And this is like the same story every time that we get to Nigeria. Not just Nigeria alone, okay? But this happened across Africa, so many other places. Our focus is Nigeria. You actually have this that is actually happening. Why would you? It doesn't make sense. Okay, so I'm not going to make any wild accusation, but we need to know. So if anybody have an idea of what's going on, if you're from Kaduna and you have an idea, please, 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 please. If you are from Kaduna, please, we want you to come and you know maybe you can shed light on for those who don't really have a clue. Because here we don't need to sensationalize, we are not trying to sensationalize anything. We just want to actually come up with, we want answers. Okay, we won't answer. So if anybody is actually out there and they actually think they know, please do that. Moving swiftly on, in Nigeria we've got this issue of terrorism right now, and it is not helping matter. There is so much that is really happening that you're beginning to wonder. Do look, Nigeria has the best army, okay, security services and all that. Why would we at this point in time still looking at the issue of terrorism in Nigeria? It is really bad. Honestly, it's really bad. And I think we are all having this idea. We seems to have this idea of everybody's pretending everything is normal. When you travel from one state in Nigeria, especially when you come, say, for instance, from the southwest, you're going to places like Benin, Abuja, and all that. You're playing Russian roulette. You're playing Russian roulette because you don't know what is along the road there. So right now people have to travel whether they like it. Those who can afford it don't travel by road. I believe, please correct me if if I'm actually wrong. Most of the elite don't travel by road because when you hear things from those who have actually gone through the hell being kidnapped in Nigeria. Jesus Christ. You wouldn't even want to go to the next state. Maybe it's even 30 minutes away. Because some of the stories that are coming out, I know it's worse in the northern part of the country. Okay, it's really really bad. Is that bad? So we actually have a lot of you have heard about what happened in Casino State. I didn't know about this until I think it was this morning that I actually thought that I decided that look, you know what, we need to actually talk about this. This is not it's not a religious thing. This thing is not a religious thing. this thing, the the people who came themselves, they were actually Muslims themselves. Those are the bandits, the kidnappers, call them whatever you want to. These guys went into a mosque and they started shooting at everybody. Well, these guys were actually praying. So it's not even a matter of that maybe you're a Christian, whether you are from one other religion or not. That is the point at all. These guys they were shooting people as if life meant nothing. And I believe that psychologically, the kind of people that do this, they will be under heavy drugs because there's no normal human being that will actually would do. You look at other human being, they've not offended you, they've not done anything, whatever, and then you end up just shooting them, unaliving them for what? Without regard for nothing. Some of the videos now, when I get sent, I don't even look at them because honestly, for everyone, you need to be careful when you're watching this kind of video. It's not like you are being weak-minded; you are protecting yourself. You see, sometimes I would like to know whether we're in a state of war that the citizen don't know. Maybe we don't know. They need to tell us whether we're in a state of war so that you can do what? So we can rise up to the occasion. Because Nigerians right now, they are like easy picking. They are like, so to speak, sitting duck. All those playgrounds you go to, so you take all those guns, all those toy guns, then you actually shoot. The dogs are just sitting there staring at. Then you shoot them one by one. So if you are successful, then you actually, they give you a prize. These guys are, you know, more people, well, the truth is not the civilians are not trained in warfare. So anytime, I mean, we've seen people that even come from abroad who have been unfortunate enough to fall into the hands of these people, and the way and manner they've treated them. Women, these guys don't have any regard for if, yeah, whether you are a child, whether it's even worse for women and for children, even the elderly. When you see it, I see these people as cowards. You know, they see the, I see them as cowards. And then I'm wondering, there have been issues where there have been allegations that, we have some, I will say well-meaning Nigerians, that we have some politicians who are actually sponsoring this. During the time of the President Buhari, I remember that I think it was Dubai. The government of Dubai actually sent a list. They identified they actually identify some Nigerians who allegedly were sponsoring, terrorism in Nigeria. So everybody was waiting that okay, we want to know who these people are. Guess what? Nothing. Nada. Nothing. Nobody was mentioned, except for security reason. Till today, we have no clue of what is really going on. So, well, the story goes that with the Kaduna massacre, so this was actually, we have one of the victims that survived. So he actually came up. He said, at dawn, the air in Lofashi is usually thick with soft whisper of prayer and the faint crow of roosters. But on the morning of 19th of August, when the faithful had gathered for prayers at the mosque, that the serene atmosphere was ruptured by gunfire instead of of voices rising in devotion. I found the sound of the muezzin calling us in, says Malankabe. We were in the second raka when I heard the motorcycles, then gunfire. It was like the air itself exploded. He said, is this somewhere far away? The gunmen stormed the mosque, cutting through rows of worshippers. No fewer than 30 men were killed, most before they had the chance to attempt an escape. The attackers, described locally as bandits, left behind bloodstained mats, torn sandals, and the echo of unanswered prayers. When I close my eyes, I see their faces. Inside the mosque, fear turned quickly to chaos. Survivors recall screams of screams muffled by gunfire, people stumbling in the darkness, the air filling with the dust and acrid gun smoke. I saw my neighbor lying face down in front of me. He didn't move, says Kirby. We grew up together. I feel for his family. I had to crawl that boat to escape. When the bandits left, the silence was heavier than the violence itself. I have not prayed inside a mosque since then. How can I kneel where blood was spilled. Every time I close my eyes, I see their faces. The mosque was our refuge. So, say Malam Umar, a religious leader from the area, the attack was not just on worshippers, but also on the heart of the community. The mosque was our gathering place, our school, our refuge these days. To attack it is to say you have no right to peace, not even your God. Look, we can actually look. We can keep reading this, but you see, the same thing is there. Who are these people? They say we have to start asking questions. Most Nigerians, put it this way, we don't even take our government to task. We don't ask questions. Nobody's even trying to find out anything. About some few months ago, I remember on one of our view blog, one of the questions I actually asked is that why is it that we don't have like a guideline? Like, okay, these things are happening. How do we safeguard our people? If they're from home, what are the ways that they can, take precaution? How would we, mitigate the risk of this things happening? So how would they say somebody attack them? What should they do? We don't have anything like that. We will just say that yes, it's the army, the DSS, all the security service, they're doing a great job. But sometimes I feel that most of our guys are, in terms of the soldiers and all that, they're going through so much. These guys, so what is are we being carried along? There should be a concerted effort. Few days ago, the former ex the army chief, Buratai, said that there should be a COVID like, there should be like a COVID like lockdown in Nigeria. So the question I first asked was that when he was there, what did he do? Did he come up with anything like that? No. It's unfortunate. I'm a nationalist. I believe in one Nigeria because we are stronger together. And I can understand those who are agitating to say separate because they feel that a section of the country has undue advantage over others and are dragging the rest of the country back. It is not an abuse. It is just that we're stating facts. When you have a situation where it seems as if, it's a bit like you have a basket, you're pouring our resources, water and everything, distribution of wealth in the country. Just it is not an excuse. You won't say that because somebody, an armed robber that went to go and steal and kill because he's hungry. I've heard of stories of people who actually, well, he was going to get married, so he went to do what? He actually went to, rob some people, and he killed those people in the process because he wants to get married. Is it an excuse? No. So it's really really very important that when we're looking at these situations like this, to state facts respectfully and be very firm in our resolve. You know, we need to start taking our this into account. I'm tired of have those who have the power and the influence while they are in power. It's after they've left, they will now be coming with some things that they will never say when we're there. So I think they should just keep quiet and just go and enjoy whatever things they've actually gotten. Because it's totally it's total nonsense to really come medicine after death. You are telling us that we should have a COVID like. Why didn't you tell President Buhari back then? We need to do this. Life is not forever. And I think those in power seems to forget that sometimes. That they think, they're just going to be there and without minding, what the impact of their policy, their attitude, and their character on the Nigerians. Nigeria is a country of over 250 million. God forbid that we'll have internal strife. Which country will take us? Is it Togo? Is it Ghana? In Ghana, where they're already saying that Nigerians go back to your country, you know? I think Ghana will say, we have what's it called now? Where we say Ghana must go back. Forget about that. That happened in the past. Ghanaians throughout Nigerians, the Nigerians throughout the Ghanaians. So it was tit for tat. But in this case, yeah, they actually have some legitimate things. But that's not the focus of our talk tonight. We should be looking at things that matters, where we don't create a people who are absolutely desperate. There are people that, women, I'm not even talking of the guys now, women went to Libya. They were treated like rubbish. Rubbish, in fact, rubbish is even treated better. They were repatriated back home. Flight. Guess what? They went back again. Then you'll be thinking, come, you were suffering there. Now they brought you back and think, and they will tell you that anywhere but Nigeria is bad. Are those in power listening to those things? Are they sensitive? Do they have the compassion to actually think about this and to actually look at what is really going on? Is it just a matter of, I'm all right, Jack? I don't want to know anything. As long as they are okay. When we look at our educational system, you don't want to see the kind of people. Look, Nigerians are brilliant. We are brilliant. Let's, it's not about being proud, okay? But it's not enough to just be brilliant. We need the character and the attitude, our national psyche. When we have Ghana, we have South Africa talking, those who are bad are giving the rest of us bad names. Absolutely. They are giving the rest of us bad names. You can see Nigerians who are outside the country doing fantastic, brilliant, doing things that, getting accolades and all that. Of course, every nation, I feel that it's unfair to be tagging Nigerians, but I can understand where people are coming from. There's a news that we're going to talk about later about a car that was missing in Canada. So don't let me give the car away. And when they found it, they found the car in Africa. Guess where? It is not Nigeria. So you find out where they found it. So when people point fingers and say, I've told somebody that in the UK, sometimes when they arrest people of African descent, sometime from somewhere from Africa, do you know what they usually say? Maybe they've committed a crime. They say they are from Nigeria. It's only when the security services now do their due diligence and actually identify exactly where they came from. They are from other African countries. Why? Because Nigerians are supposed to be known for all sorts of things that we're actually looking at. It's not so much that the good, the bad, and the ugly. You have them in Nigeria, you have them in Ghana, you have them in Europe, you have them in the UK, you have them in America. But we are easy picking. And because I believe that our government are not so much sensitive to all these things. Okay, so imagine this guy came to the mosque there in in Kasina. They went to the mosque, unalived the people there. And these people that are doing this, they are Muslims. Oh, they are Muslims. So they can't come out and say, oh, maybe you are praying to the wrong God, or oh, you are a Christian, so that's why we're doing this. No, it's got nothing to do with that. It's got nothing. So let me just move swiftly on because we've still got quite a few to talk about. Right. So the my other story has to do with I'm sure a lot of us know about Little Cash. So this is a bit different now. Who happens to be a rapper in Nigeria, and apparently he was actually attacked recently. The news was actually coming out that Little Cage was attacked, and people were like, "Nah, it's not true." That they've been, a lot of people have been checking online to find out whether this was actually true or not, and they actually found out that where some there wasn't his management were not really forthcoming. There was no press release or anything. So it says popular Nigerian rapper Keshiro Ode, widely known as Little Kesh, has finally spoken out following a terrifying attack that left him injured in Lagos earlier this week. Eyes of Lagos reports. The incident reportedly occurred on Wednesday when the music star was ambushed by unidentified attackers who allegedly attempted to rob him of his valuables, including a chain. During the altercation, Litige was stabbed in the neck and ear, resulting in serious injuries. Shocking images from the scene quickly surfaced on social media, sparking a wave of concern from fans and fellow entertainers. The 30-year-old rapper was immediately taken to a nearby hospital where he received medical attention. Doctors were able to stitch his wound, stabilize his condition. Breaking a silent post on his Instagram story, Little Cash described the incident as an unexpected blow, but expressed deep gratitude for life and recovery. Life threw me a curveball, said, but I'm safe, healing, and blessed to be here. Grateful for the love, support, and prayers he shared. The update was as a relief to his fan base, many of whom had flooded social media with messages of concern, well wishes in hours following the attack. As investigations continue, Lizike's recovery remains the focus, with supporters hopeful for a swift return to the music scene. So well, I'm glad he's actually okay. You don't want think things like this shouldn't really be happening. It shouldn't be. It's just rather unfortunate. But that's the situation that we actually have in the country. And I must say as well, again, it's not only in Nigeria it is happening. Come to central London. If you know that it doesn't happen in the UK, go to central London, maybe go to Oxford Street and wave your iPhone or your Android phone and say, and say that you're in El Dorado, then you've got another thing coming. It's not going to happen. Before you close your eyes and open it, you'll be glad that if you still have your hand still attached to your arm. So it's everywhere. It's everywhere. So sometimes we're just looking at things and we're thinking, how did we get here? So it's just rather funny. But key thing is that we're happy that he's making a good recovery. We want him back on the music scene. So, but I must admit I don't really listen to his music. So if you ask me, don't really know. But he's internationally recognized. So there you have it. Right. So I want to talk about a pastor. I want to talk about a pastor in Nigeria who happens to live in he happens to live in I think it's in Benin Republic. I don't really, I first came across this story. I think it was last year that they were actually talking about it. That Abike Dabri, the minister for um, diaspora, Nigerians in the diaspora, and I think she did mention this. Now we have another minister now, the wife of the late Biafran leader. Um, Ojuku Bianca Ojuku. So she actually went down to Benin Republic and she actually came up. She actually went to see this man that they heard about the story where he was allegedly accused of it actually said he actually raped a 13-year-old. So but during the investigation, so they actually found out that um the the alleged victim basically came out and said it's not true. So that in itself have created a dilemma for the prosecutors in Benin Republic. So let me just quickly bring this one up. Sometimes I always try to say that when we hear things, we should not be quick to judge. There are always two sides to a story. On social media, before you can say, hey, everybody's gone, yeah, of course. In fact, when some people talk about the story, you would think they were actually there, like, in fact, when the deed was done, they were there, like, they had a special VIP there, So basically, he said, Nigerian pastor Benjamin Egbaji Elin, who is from Cross River State in Nigeria, has reportedly been held in detention for 2 years in Benin Republic over an alleged rape case involving a minor. So the situation was brought to light by the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Bianca Ojukwu, who shared updates during a recent post on our official X, formerly Twitter handle. According to the minister, Pastor Egbaji is currently being held at the Sierra National Hospital in University, where he is also battling serious health complications. These are, like I said, been for like 2 years. The allegations stem from a complaint filed by a Beninese woman, Pede Victoria, who accused the pastor of being her 13-year-old daughter, identified as, let me just say, Sarah. However, in a tweet, the alleged victim later withdrew the accusation, which is now the subject of an ongoing appeal in court. Ojuku confirmed that the Nigerian government is actively working in this to ensure that justice is served and that Pastor Egbeji receive proper legal representation and medical attention. I appreciate the cooperation of the Benin's Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Minister of Justice, and the government for facilitating access to Pastor Benjamin Egbaji. She stated the case has stirred reaction among Nigerians both at home and in diaspora, especially as questions continue to arise about the pastor's prolonged detention despite the change in the accuser's testimony. As diplomatic effort continues, the Nigerian Foreign Affairs Ministry says it remains committed to protecting the rights of citizens abroad, especially in cases where legal processes appear to be delayed or mishandled. So, I mean, it's a terrible thing. Uh, this is one of the things that sometimes that gladdens my heart when I see that the government seems to be demonstrating some sort of compassion. I just wish that we actually have this, consistently. So it's been said that the alleged victim has actually got to say it never happened. So whatever happened, I don't have a full story, and I'm not going to create one to bridge the gap. So apparently, somebody, how it is in some cases where somebody will accuse somebody of rape. Then later they will come, it didn't really happen. Why? Because so it was done out of malice. I won't say more than that. But the point I actually want to make out is the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Bianco Juku, she's doing a fantastic job. I don't know her, but when you actually see things like this, that's exactly what should be done. There should be intervention timely. 2 years is too long. So justice, I mean, should serve speedily. So, right, I think we've got another story coming up. And this one is we actually like is about a comedian that drives in Lagos. This one is really is really on. It's really really funny. For those who are actually trying to actually get me to add them to uh the live program, do that later, but not right now. So if you have anything to say, don't worry, I will actually will bring you on. So yeah, hi Danny. All right. So we have this comedian in Nigeria. So that said, let me see, take this off. This guy is doing very well as a successful comedian, and he is known in Nigeria very well. I don't know whether he's known outside the country, but he's known very, very well in Nigeria. And the comedian is it Zik Saloma Vent Agrili said, "I'm tired of driving in Lagos." So what happened? Let's see the story. He said comedian Zik Saloma says he has had it with Nigerian police. So much that he's ready to give up his right. In a new video posted on Instagram, the skit maker revealed he wants to sell his Benz. He has a very beautiful car anyway. Not because he's broke, but because of constant harassment from police officers who stop him more than 5 times in a single day. According to him, the drama starts as soon as he leaves his house. He narrated how officers allegedly blocked him, jumped into his car, and demanded that he follow them to the station over excuses or another. He said even when he presented valid documents, including his stint permit, they alleged insisted it was fake. In Nigeria, if your vehicle is tinted, even though it's factory made, there is a level, there's a degree that your glasses can be tinted, and if you don't have the right document to say that you're not Yahoo Yahoo or some sort of person, they will take your car and they will make. In fact, you just better you just leave them, just go and buy another car. so, so it's a Zeke Saloma recalled one incident where things got even more suspicious when they tried to walk him behind the station instead of letting him enter the main building. Ah, eh. Until passersby begin to recognize him, calling his name, which seemed to make the officers change their approach. He said eventually he was released after more than 30 minutes of back and forth. But it didn't end there. He said on the same day, while now driving from the station towards Ajah Bridge, another set of officers flagged him down at VGC. He was stopped again, and even on his way back, yet another group waved him down. He said, frustrated, the committee declared he's tired of driving his Benz in Lagos because it seems to him that the car itself has become a magnet for harassment. The thing is this, right? Let me put it to you this way. There was a time in the UK, I would say that, because I used to live in East London, and I remember that we drive. Once you are two of you in a car, like when I said not just any car, if you are driving one of those old like escorts. The police, nobody will really. If in fact, if you are like two of you and you are back and you are driving and you have a base, in fact, the door cap was magnet. That was one. Then if you happen, because a lot of Nigerians back then drive Mercedes, and BMW. It was true that quite a lot of people that were driving those cars were into fraud. So the police have, they profile you, even if when people were getting jobs and buying, they could buy expensive cars until it died down. Now, if you are driving it, nobody, the police, they just, in fact, they even wave to you. Say, okay. But then if you are two black people, and we know that a lot of black people, then we love our baseball cap. And when you put on the baseball cap, or more, before you know it, you have like about four cars. You have about four police cars. Start stopping you like, yeah, okay, right. Before you know it, they're talking. They are stopping you because of they're looking at the car. They're looking at you. How can you, a black guy, how can you afford this car? And then before they do it, they start asking you, where are you from and all that. Anyway, so that was what used to happen then. So until that actually faded away. Now we have this situation now happening in Nigeria because there's a lot of things happening. You have now young Nigerians who are doing absolutely brilliant. They are doing a lot of stuff in Nigeria. They're not doing 419, they're not doing, Yahoo Yahoo or whatever. They have legitimate this in there. The advent of the social media has created, a class of young, not just young, young, middle class, whatever, you know, who are into the skit makers, comedians. They have their niche and they are doing fantastically. They are doing fantastic. You will. I don't think you will ever catch any of them saying that they want to come to. They want to relocate. You won't, because what they are doing over there is legit, and they are making bastard money. No doubt about it. Okay, so this guy, I've seen some of the guy is quite brilliant actually. You know, and they just the police are just asking them to see you. Just it's almost the same thing that was happening here in the UK back then. Once you're actually sitting in a car, so they are looking at you. Okay, well, how did you manage to, how did you manage to, you know, how can you afford this? We know the economic situation in Nigeria. Nigeria's economy is a bundle of contradiction. You will see the rich, the very poor, the poorest of the poor. You will be there, and you actually will really see these other people as well. Who are. I mean, you would think, where did these guys? There are some of the cars you- probably you will see them in, um, where the super rich are. You see the super rich driving those kind of cars, and they can afford it. You say, okay, go and check Burna Boy now. See the kind of, okay, he's known as an artist, but we have, it's not just the artists themselves. You know, we have all the Emanuela, and co. So many of them, brother Shaggy. I mean, check them out. These guys are doing fine. I'm really happy about that. The opportunity is there for anybody. You want to succeed over there in Nigeria. So when they take it quite seriously and they're making serious money, it's really, really unbelievable when people actually look at that. But when they actually see that, they just can't believe it. It's like, how did this happen? These people they are in Nigeria. They can show exactly how much. Look at Pella, Jarvis, all of them. So now, but the thing with the police is that every time they're always looking at this thing and they are thinking, how is this thing happening? So once they see them, the first thing they will come and say, hey, it must be 419. Even in tech, there's a story of a guy that actually works remote, full remote, and I think he was being paid about $1,500 a month. Okay, now his neighbors actually reported him to the police. They said that his generator was always on, and he's always that Uber is always delivering food. The guy doesn't, not that he doesn't go out, but most of the time when he needs stuff, he has all these Uber people that he calls. They will do shopping for him, deliver, and things like that. I know a lot of tech guys in Nigeria like that who have like about, maybe like two jobs or something like that. So you can imagine you're in Nigeria, you're earning dollars like that, like 3,000, 4,000, $5,000 a month, even in pounds. So imagine the kind of cash that is at their disposal, the kind of money they're actually making. So things are changing. Okay, but for a lot of people, they just look at it that, how is it? What are you guys doing? As a tech person myself, I can tell you, you know, you want to do stuff like data analytics, you want to do things like master data management and stuff like that. Nigerians are there, and now because you can work from anywhere, You can work from anywhere. So, but you have some set of Nigerians who are working really from inside Nigeria. They don't have any desire to come. If they come here, I know a lot of these people. When they come to the UK, I can only speak of the ones that come to the UK. So they will tell you that they're actually looking to spend like about 2 weeks holiday, spend 2 weeks in the UK. By the time you call them on the fourth day, my guy, where are you? Guess what? They will tell you they've gone back to Nigeria. Like, I thought you were spending 2 weeks. Say, I just can't wait. The truth of the matter is that most Nigerians, once they make, if they have the money, they will not stay in the UK. You can be rest assured. Not that they don't like the UK, but the thing is, we love our own side. It's because people don't, so those who have not made money, that is why they are here. I just don't get this. Or those, sometimes people that will sell their houses anyway. But the point I'm just trying to point out here is that when the police see young people, they're driving these expensive cars. I know of a lady that I met today. I went to an event called Onidiri, festival African, yeah, about African hair. So this was at Bromley. When I actually went there, she has a salon. Her name is, I'm sure some of you might know her, Woomsy Airfield. She's doing well. If you see how much she's making, she's doing well. She's doing well. So people, a lot of us. So anyway, but the point I'm just trying to say is that, so imagine that kind of person now. Say maybe it is in Nigeria and all that she's doing. Imagine that they will be saying that, oh, maybe she's into some dodgy stuff, but she's not. She's not. A lot of people don't even know what is really happening on social media. They're just there to come and be doing LOL and be laughing and be. You are laughing. Meanwhile, some people are making serious money. The people are making serious money there. They totally no clue. They are not even sure of what is really going on. So I just want to say that so if you're into social media and in Nigeria, I would say tone it down. Okay, tone it down. That doesn't mean that you don't have a right. Just look for something. Just humble yourself and enjoy your money because you don't want to attract. We have all sorts of things going on right now. Kidnapping and all that. You need to be careful. Don't make yourself a target. If you're very wise, just look for one old banger. It doesn't matter. Just look for one old banger or go and get security. Okay, get your own private security. You can afford it. Okay, so oh, I didn't really intend to go in, that deep into it. So now I now want to talk about the stolen vehicle from Toronto. It's found in Africa. Now that one, every most places they always accuse it. They say, if anything happens, hey, it's Nigerians who, you know, yeah. Thanks, Kenny. My I have a friend of mine. He says, "Oh, that we wish we could be notified." Okay, yeah, I will take that into account. Absolutely. So, one of the key things that I was actually saying was that this car was actually found stolen. Okay, so let me just share the story very quickly. The reason I really want to share this is that when I tell people that it's very easy for other countries to be accusing that, oh, this thing is happening, they are Nigerians, they are Nigerian. The thing is that Nigerians mainly are, we are mostly extroverts. That's the thing. When people come to our country, Nigerians love visitors. When somebody come out, from outside the country, they will even treat better than their own people, and that's the truth. They are, Nigerians are people that they welcome visit any visitor that comes to Nigeria. Go and ask most expatriates that works in Nigeria. Once they finish their engagement, the project, whatever it is that they're working in Nigeria, they they some of them when they go back, they will now go and sell all their stuff, come back and start living in Nigeria. And you would think when you listen to some of the crazy stories you hear from that, you would think nobody wants to live in Nigeria. But I tell people, be careful. Don't say that. There's a lot happening in Nigeria. Nigeria, we are. I take it personally that Nigerians were too tolerant. That's why our leadership treats us the way we do. Because you know, anyway, don't let me go there. There's something I wanted to say, which I will just stay clear for now. So I don't need any unnecessary controversy. But at some point, maybe I will talk about. So basically, this story is about this shocking comment, or this shocking moment. A car stolen from Toronto, Canada, was traced and found in If I ask anybody, which country do you think that car was found? Huh? So can you, some of you guys put it inside the comment section? Which country? Just think it's Nigeria, put it there. If it's Cameroon, Benin, South Africa, whatever, put it in there. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. Guess what? The country in question was in Ghana. It's in Ghana in recent times that they've been saying that Nigeria must go, and I believe that when they said it's not because Ghanaians don't like Nigerians, it's because, which is really true. Some of our people, their own is too much. When they go to a host country, they forget that they are guests there. They begin to behave as if they are omonile of the, this is somebody else's country, and they've been gracious enough to actually allow you to stay there, so that to the extent that they felt so free, you now begin to say that now we want to do, we want to turn some part of Ghana into another state for Nigeria. It's not done. Absolutely, it is not done. So of course, anything that was happening in Ghana that was negative, they started saying it's Nigerians. So was it that in Ghana we don't have armed robbers there? Of course, we have armed robbers there too now. We have people that were there, but that does not negate the fact that we have some Nigerians who are absolutely, sorry, but they are not well up there. Yes, they are my brothers and sisters. You can't deny them that. But then these are people that you just think, why would they behave like that? You go to somebody's house, then you're not telling them, okay, now you want to create your own enclave. What are you trying to do? Okay. So basically, now with this that actually happened, this stolen car, it was in Ghana. They found it in Ghana. It wasn't in Lagos. Oh. It was found in Ghana. So when you're trying to say that, oh, everything that bad, it must be from Nigeria, absolutely not. Every country has the good, the bad, and the ugly. I've met great Ghanaians. I can tell you that. You know. So kudos to my Ghanaian brothers and sisters out there. But they're also obnoxious Ghanaians. I've worked with some of them. You don't even you can't even stand them. Some of the Ghanaians. And like I said, they are great Ghanaians that, you just love them. So many of them that, they're brilliant guys, brilliant business people, great achievers and all. So it's the same thing we have in Nigeria as well. So people should be careful. Don't just say, oh, you don't make those kind of sweeping statements. Those are sweeping. You don't say that. There are different people that do different things. We have them everywhere. Is it all white people that are racist? Of course not. It's not all white people that are actually it's not white people that are racist. It's not. So that's what really happened there. So a man who introduced himself as David Common, an investigative journalist with CBC News, put a call through to one Green Leonard, the original owner of the stolen vehicle, after finding a paper inside the car that contained Leonard's details. He later requested permission to FaceTime him, and during their conversation, Leonard explained how his car had disappeared last year. So the car has been stolen for over a year, and at the end of the day, he said it was stolen September, October last year. So when asked what happened, he explains. So we were going out that day in the morning. My wife went out to get the car. She was in the driveway. When we checked the camera, the video from the Ring doorbell, about 3 in the morning, you see a car and two guys pulled up towards the driveway. And about 4 minutes later, the light goes off. They are gone. The car is gone from the driveway. So at the end of the day, when the car was finally found this it was actually found in West Africa. It was found in Ghana. So when people are saying, "Oh, it's Nigerians," it's Nigerians. So there you go. So we say about that. What would you say about that? You see, the kind of jaguda that you have in Nigeria, have them in Ghana. It's as simple as that. So please stop. All the ills of Africa is not the fault of Nigerians. Sometimes look at people; they are there as well. Yes, Nigeria might be the most populous, in Africa. So I think that actually makes Nigerians easy target. Right. Okay. So the last and not the least. So we're going back to the story of the terrorism. And I actually spoke about what the former chief of army staff, Buratai, actually said. In terms of that they should have a COVID-19 sort of lockdown, that they should actually have it in Nigeria. And I said, when he was chief of army staff, what did he do? What did he do? Did he say something like that? Nope. Now that he's out there, he has now retired, he's enjoying his money. Now he's now performing a statement. No, he should keep his statement. He should keep his advice. He should keep it in his house, because when he was there, he had the influence and the power. What did he do? Jack, nothing. He was just doing the normal thing where we are chasing them. He never suggested any of this thing. Now it's no longer there. Now saying that we should have like a lockdown. He should have told President Buhari then that they should actually they should do that. Okay, so now we now have a former chief of general officer commanding GOC. Um, you see, all these people, they always come out with all these things, but when they are there, they didn't say anything. So this is a retired general, GOC, general officer commanding. I think I'm right about that. Right. Okay. Let me. So basically, what he said is the former general officer commanding GOC of the Forces Mechanized Division, Nigerian Army, Kaduna, Major General Anjum Ali Kefi, has retired, has claimed that powerful individuals linked to terrorism, financing, and oil smuggling in Nigeria were exposed by security investigation, but later shielded from prosecution. Did you see what we're actually saying? That, so these people are known, but they are being shielded. So what's the point? So Nigerians will continue to bear the brunt. Is it? Why is that? Speaking in an interview on Arise News Channel on Thursday, General Ali Kefi, who once headed the Operation Service Wing, tasked with dismantling terrorist financing network, said staking investigation revealed financiers, facilitators, and sponsors of Boko Haram terrorism, including some with political connections. According to him, the coordinated arrests of Boko Haram leaders and financiers around 2017-2018 significantly weakened the insurgents, leading to mass surrenders and eventually the death of their leader, Abubakar Sheku. When you take out the leadership, you decapitate the organization and render it ineffective. That was what we did. And you saw the massive surrender of Boko Haram fighters and their families, he said. Ali Kafi disclosed that Nigeria efforts enjoyed intelligence support from foreign allies, including the United Arab Emirates. And it was UAE that actually gave us those lists of the spoils that the presidency under President Buhari sat on, and they never shared the information. United Kingdom and United States. The retired Army General revealed that investigations unearthed shocking connections, but were not acted upon thereafter. We stumbled upon an airline owner who was allegedly moving weapons for Boko Haram. Some of those arrested were linked to cabinet ministers, even retired senior military officers, he recalled. He lamented that despite the presence of representatives from the Department of State Services, our Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, Nigeria Financial Intelligence Unit, and the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation during the probe, high-profile suspects were quietly released. Did you see that? So we know them, but do they have anything the power be that they had to release them? Because sometimes there was in one of the northern states recently, there was a drug baron top guy that was arrested. It was the commissioner, one of the commissioners in the state, who was the one that did what? He actually made stringent efforts and actually got this person bailed, to the extent that when the governor of the state actually heard about it, immediately they asked him to resign. And I just feel that they should not just ask him that, they should investigate him, because that means it must be a beneficiary one way or the other. But since then, we've not heard anything. There is no follow up, or of really, we've not heard anything. As the commander, I've made my concern known to the president at the time. He assured me I reported to him alone. As the investigation progressed, I began to see hesitation and resistance. Eventually, some of these people were released and never prosecuted. General Ali Kefi stated, "That's not my word. I'm quoting him. That's what he said." And he should know. I should know, because of his job. Because of his job, the area of scope he was actually. So he was, the security investigation that they actually later shielded from prosecution. So it's it's just unbelievable that we actually have something like this actually happening. It shouldn't be at all. It shouldn't be. So unfortunately, um, I don't know how we're actually going to deal with this, except we begin to apply, the rule of law, and there is enforcement. If there's no enforcement, so that means that there's selective what? We have selective, persecution. That is what it looks like. I've never seen anybody that has been who has been identified as high up there, a powerful, influential on terrorism. Never, not seen it. So, so that's it. So each time they say we are carrying, so if we're just arresting the foot soldiers, it doesn't matter. The guys will always come back. You know, if all that we're actually doing is just doing that and getting rid of people and all that, the arresting the foot soldiers, the front line, it is the head, like was said earlier. When you decapitate the head, the body will die. It's as simple as that. And unfortunately, that's not the case now. So just want to say thank you. And what we're looking to do is what we're looking to do now is well, we're just gonna wrap up. So back again, same time tomorrow, and I think tomorrow we're going to be